Happy holidays and happy New Year's. The name's Josh and while I'm sipping on some non-alcoholic eggnog, it's back to the mines with all reliable water soon enough. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, water is the most important beverage for us all as it helps us with our most important functioning, which is hydration. According to this Google AI overview, which will probably be updated in like 2 days, it tells us it helps regulate body temperature, lubricates joints, gross, along with protecting tissue. I don't know what they're talking about protecting tissue. Maybe mine are just bugged. Maybe it's because I'm using Kleenex. Not entirely sure. Let me know if there's a patch for this. This would be very much appreciated, however. But to be honest with you, I didn't even drink that much water when I was younger. I'm sure most of us really didn't. Let's be honest here. But now the reason I drink reliable H2O, aka water, is for one reason and one reason only. So I don't get kidney stones. And I'm sure it goes for the rest of you as well. Let's be honest here. We want to drink Coca-Cola every day, but we can't do that because that's not how hydration works. I can't believe how damned we were since the day we were born. Born to Monster Energy, forced to piss kidney stones out of our urethra. So while water is the most important nutrient for us all, is it important in video games? If there's a survival element to the game, then obviously, because as humans we all need water. But I'm not talking about staying hydrated, I'm talking about the general idea of water. Water is in every game, I think, and sometimes they make it fun. In almost all the 3D Zelda titles, besides the game that unironically takes place mostly in the sea, you're bound to tackle a water dungeon during your journey. Solving puzzles, whether or not it has something to do with the elevation, changing that state of matter, or changing the currents in the dungeon like in Majora's Mask. In Bioshock 2, the game takes place completely underwater in the fallen ruins of Rapture, an idea created by the secondary antagonist of the first game, Andrew Ryan. You have the 2D Mario levels where you swim in the water, you have the 2D Sonic levels where you really can't swim in the water, and then you have Vice City Definitive Edition with its vibrant landscape and holy fuck, let me swim in that water. It's not the best looking water graphics I've seen, but for what Vice City was back in 2002, it kinda makes sense why the water looks so simplistic in this used to be quote-unquote remastered garbage port. I always thought Gatorade Cool Blue or Gatorade Glacier Ice is what you taste in the Bahamas if you were to drink some of the water, because you can't lie to yourself, we all did it, we all wanted to drink that yummy seawater, but we didn't know it was actually unyummy, undelicious, and salty. Bleh. One of the first games I've ever played for myself way back in the day was Kingdom Hearts. I saw someone play it and I was like, I want to play that too. So I did. When I got the game and saw the first cinematic, I think I immediately fell in love with the game. It was special. Way too special for my own good. With the amount of playtime I had on the PlayStation 2 along with the PS4 version of the 1.5 and 2.5 remix, I have about, I want to say 200 hours in the game, but was I any good at it? Not really, but it was still special. After you beat the first boss of the game known as Darkseid, you wake up on an island, and I thought that was the coolest shit. I didn't give a fuck about having to build a raft with my friends, I wanted to explore the entire island. Literally the first time I played this game, I remember just immediately going into the water and swimming as far away from the island as I possibly could. Low-key, I wanted to live on this island just because of how tropical it was. There's not even that much you can do on this island, but I didn't care because of how interactive the world seemed when I first played it. You can go on zip lines, you can move some boulders around, you can fight other residents on the island, Riku included, which, speaking of Riku, I love the race you do before gathering the rest of the supplies for the raft. This race means everything to you when you're 7 years old since you want Sora to absolutely demolish Riku because of the terms that were set for the race. You want the ship to be called Germacraft, but you'll also want to share that Palpu fruit with Kairi. If you lose the race, Riku makes you feel like an actual sore loser saying this to you, and it makes you want to keep rematching with him until you finally beat him. The rivalry between Sora and Riku throughout the first Kingdom Hearts is unlike any other game duo in my opinion, but I digress. Destiny Islands was a great world and a great prologue / setup to what was about to happen for Sora and his friends. A popular saying that goes with water, especially surrounded by it, is calm before the storm. And this is exactly what I think about when I hear that. I think the theme that represents water the best is calm and tranquility. Well, partially. In some areas where water is the main environment, there's usually not a lot of enemies, if any. Silent Hill 2 has been getting a lot more popularity recently because of the remake that was released back in October. And while I still have yet to play the modern remake of this amazing narrative that's still groundbreaking in my opinion, I will say one thing I didn't mention in my Silent Hill 2 video I made 4 years back. By the way, I would say go watch that video if you wanted to, but please don't. The audio is actually really shite, and it's just unwatchable because of the audio, to be honest with you. After James goes deeper into insanity, sealing his fate in the labyrinth area, James has one destination left, which is the Lakeview Hotel, where Mary currently waits for his arrival. Before getting there, you have to travel in a boat for about 5 minutes, and you may be thinking that there's gonna be some crazy hidden lake monster like Capcom did in RE4, but there's not. All there is complete ambience and a calm eeriness. The only thing we see for the next 5 minutes, besides a couple of lookbacks, is a light beacon far away and James' blank stare into the camera. First time around, it's completely normal. Things have been tense, so James, being the only familiar we've seen throughout the entire game, is calming and doesn't raise any alarms. We are waiting patiently for James to reunite with his wife so they can leave this town and live peacefully. Unbeknownst to the player at this point in time, until venturing in the hotel, you find out that James had actually killed Mary a few days before. So this crazy hidden lake monster we may have thought to look like this grotesque looking abomination is actually human in disguise. Man, I got chills from that, but on a completely different note, who fucks with Beach Bowl Galaxy? The first time I had ever played Super Mario Galaxy, I remember being in the stage and just loving it oh so much. There's 6 stars in total to get, and overall it's just so much fun to do. The stars aren't at all hard to get, and you can't really die on this stage compared to the other stages. I think the only way you can really die is when you're doing the Cyclone Stone area, just because of the actual danger you're facing, but still not really too difficult. There's a secret star you can get in the stage by using a Koopa shell on this chest at the far end of the map, which will transport you to an area with 5 waterfalls along with a Cataquack. The only thing you can really do is to try and get that big coin in the air, but how can you do that? Well, if a Cataquack charges towards you, they will use their beak to lift you up very high into the air. Problem solved. Then once you jump into the air, an ice flower will be available to pick up, which basically makes Mario able to walk on water and a couple of other things like wall jumping on waterfalls. You use the ice flower a couple of times in this game, but I think this is hands down one of the best obtainable star missions you can play, and also probably the best mission to use this power up. This game was ahead of its time for sure. Not only that, but the environment is just so nice. I wish I was chilling with this penguin right here just to bathe in that sunlight and look at that black hole over yonder. I know that the turtle shell pickup isn't anything new since we had that in the Jolly Roger Bay stage back in Mario 64, but they really made the movement look crazy underwater in Galaxy. But the vibes hit, the water looks like Glacier Freeze, the music is very underrated, the level design fits, it's all around a fantastic stage. Water in video game design is obviously important because of the interactivity. And what I mean by interactivity is you could have a character walk on a puddle and you have a little plish splash sound effect, or it could be so much more grand in scale, like a water level, a water dungeon, for example. You can have like some symbolism with the water. It's really just your course. And that's why I wanted to talk about water in video games, because most video games, they're not gonna have what I've discussed in this video. They're mainly just gonna have a environment of water, and that's about it. But it could really go the same with all 4 elements. Experimentation in video game is very important, and I love people who keep experimenting, especially newer developers. Indie developers are taking the charts off of like Steam, and it's just gonna get much better from here on forth, especially with Balatro and how it was nominated for so many categories at the Game of the Year Awards. Like, that's a huge achievement. That was one person who made that. One person. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving a like and a subscribe, and even comment on the channel and see like what your favorite part about this video was, if you want. You could also talk about something on a completely different note. You can tell me what I missed about water design in video games. The choice is really just up to you. If you like this face, you can see me on twitch.tv/namesjosh, link in the description if you are interested. I'm going to be playing Sonic Adventure DX, but with a twist, sometime in the upcoming month. So if you're excited for that, give me a follow, turn post notifications on, It feels weird saying. I hope you guys had a great time with family, as I sure did around the holidays, and I hope you're having a great New Year's Eve. 2025, would this be the year for new content? There might be a chance. I'm not gonna say anything because I can't hold promises. If you've been a part of the channel, you already know this. I can't think of anything else, so enjoy your day, and the name's Josh, and I'll see you whenever that's gonna be. Like I said, maybe again, maybe another upload for this year. We'll just have to see. Ow.